Hello, and welcome to Ashley Herrera Yoga. Today I'm going to be guiding you through a prenatal yoga class for all trimesters. This is a really great class if you're experiencing a lot of low back pain, and we're going to be doing a lot of movements for our low back, creating space. The props that you'll need is a blanket for extra support under your knees. If you have a bolster or a firm pillow to sit on to give you extra height, I recommend it, as well as one or two yoga blocks or books or something that's very firm to hold on to. And when you've gotten those props, just come and have a comfortable seat on your pillow, your bolster, or even a birth ball to bring you a little bit higher. And once you're in your comfortable seated position, we're going to close our eyes, placing our hands on our lap, taking your gaze down towards your cheekbones, and just taking a few moments here, noticing where your body is in space. So if you notice that you feel like you're leaning a little bit more forward, I'm just trying to shift your heart back so it's in line with your mid pelvis. And sending your ears back slightly, it might feel like you're giving yourself a double chin. Aligning your midbrain over mid heart and mid pelvis. And just taking a moment here to soften around your belly, relaxing through your shoulders, and releasing through your jaw. We're going to start our practice off with 3 intentional breaths. And so as we do our intentional breaths, you could place one hand at your belly and one hand at your ribs. And we're going to breathe into the hand at your belly. And you're going to feel a gentle rise of your belly depending on how far along you are. And then we're going to breathe into the hand that's at your ribs. So you're going to feel your hand moving from the front, the sides, and the back. And then we're going to open our mouths and blow out like we're blowing out of a cocktail straw, and allowing everything to just naturally come back down. So not forcing your belly button to your spine, we're just allowing your belly to come back down. And again, breathing into the belly, and then the ribs, and slow, long exhale. You'll notice that your exhale is longer than the inhale. Good, and then inhaling again, and then into the hand at the ribs, and slow, long exhale. And we're going to bring our hands to heart center. You could keep your eyes closed here, rubbing your hands back and forth to create some warmth, some energy. And when your hands feel warm, you could place them over top of your eyes, and feeling that warmth, that sensation. And breathing in towards your hands, your eyes, and sending yourself any message of gratitude. You are doing an amazing job. And then releasing your hands, blinking your eyes open. Good, and just acknowledging the space that you're in, acknowledging your baby and its presence. And then we're going to make our way into an all fours position. So coming off of your birth ball or bolster, coming into all fours. So I like to use a blanket for support under my knees, especially if you're on a hard surface. Having your knees in line with your hips, wrists in line with your shoulders. We're going to start off today with pelvic tilts. So this is where we're going to be rocking through our pelvis here, and our mid back and upper back are going to stay pretty neutral. So with your hands, you want to be pressing into the floor through your finger pads, taking some weight off of the wrists, and we're going to rock the sit bones to the back wall, and then you're going to tip them downwards towards the floor. You're rocking back and tipping down. And in the beginning, when you start to do this, you may not have a very large range of motion, and it might feel tight. You might feel on one side it's tighter than the other side. And we're just simply noticing how our pelvis feels. If you sit a lot during the day where our pelvis is in one position, you want to be adding this in daily. This helps to relieve that pregnancy low back pain that you're probably experiencing. It also helps to get baby moving. So if they're in a comfortable position, by rocking through our pelvis, we're creating space, we're trying to become more balanced so that baby could find a better position and they're not always in the same spot. Now we'll do 2 more breaths here. And then when you're done your second breath, we're going to start moving into that full cat-cow. So we're going to tilt to the pelvis, lift to the chest, looking up. Your back isn't going to go all the way down into this big sway back. It is still a pelvic tilt and a lift through the collarbones. And then exhale, we're rounding through the spine, pressing the hands down to the floor, getting a nice stretch between the shoulder blades, letting the head come down. And then moving at your own breath and pace in this cat-cow motion. And I always invite you, if you're comfortable and safe, you could close your eyes here or have a really soft gaze. And you could add in some rocking front to back as you do your cat-cows. You can make C shapes with your body or big circles with your torso as if you're in a big barrel and you're rolling around in it. Whatever feels right for you in your body, and just going along with this dance with your baby. This is a time when you're sort of simulating when you're in labor, and you're really tuning into your body. And you and your baby are going through these sensations, these movements together. Now we'll do one more breath here. And when you're done your next breath, we'll meet back in a neutral spine. Good. And then we're going to work through the spine a little bit, doing a little bit of thoracic rotation. So pressing into your left hand, and then we're going to help open our chest up. And when we can't open it anymore, we're going to extend the arm up overhead. Lowering back down, coming into that cat position, so rounding through your spine. Good. Back to a neutral spine, pressing into your right hand, opening up as much as you can before you start to reach, and then start to reach your hand up. Good. Coming back down into that cat position, neutral spine, and then rotating, pressing through that left hand, and then reaching up. Good. And down to cat, and then pressing into the right, reaching up, and coming back down into cat. Good. We'll do it one more time per side, pressing into your left hand, opening up, and then reaching so you get that full rotation. And coming into cat. Last one, pressing into that right hand, and then reaching up, and coming into cat. Coming back into a neutral spine. We're going to step your left foot forward, and grabbing a hold of your blocks if they're available, just to give you a little bit more height so you're not rounding over your belly. And we're going to take our stance a little bit wider, and it doesn't have to be super long here, especially if you're experiencing pubic symphysis sensations. And we're going to add in a little bit of a rocking motion. And first we're going to go into the hamstring a little bit. And then we're going to start to straighten your front leg a little bit more and shift that left hip back. So you could bring the blocks with you at a higher height. We're going to shift that hip back, and then we're going to rock it forward. Shifting the hip back and rocking it forward. Good. This really helps to relax through your pelvic floor. And also, if you're experiencing any sciatica, This is a nice little release. Good. Last one. And shifting back. Good. And then we'll heel toe the foot back. And we'll switch sides. So moving the blocks over to the left, stepping your right forward. Again, we'll start off by just gentle little rocks front to back. Good. And now we'll start to straighten that front leg, rocking that hip all the way back. So you're kind of uneven here. One hip is going forward, one is going back. Rocking front, rocking back. Breathing here through the belly, the ribs. And when things are starting to get hard, we're exhaling out of our mouth, slow and long, like you're blowing out of a cocktail straw. When we are experiencing something hard or difficult in our body, we're always going to respond in the same manner until we notice it and start to change it. And so this will show up in your labor. So we try to practice different techniques prior to labor so that when you do experience stress in your body knows how to respond and your mind knows how to respond with these techniques. Now we're going to come on forward again, stepping your right foot back. And you could heel toe it back and take little baby steps. Good. And then from here, I like to rock my hips side to side. Good. And we're going to make our way into puppy pose. This is a really lovely position to go in this more upright posture and helps to get baby to kind of reposition themselves a little bit. Just a little shift if they're kind of stuck left or right in your body. So you're going to come onto your forearms. You're going to keep your hips in line with your knees. And then you could come on down. I like to add a block or a pillow for my forehead. And you're coming in this upright position. Good. You could even rock a little bit with pelvic tilts here. I like to have my forearms pressing on the floor so that my ribs stay neutral and aren't flaring or have an over arch of your back. Good. And then we're going to start to make our way back up, moving your blocks to the top of the mat, moving your blanket to the side if you're using one. And we're going to set up for downward facing dog. So if you have low blood pressure and you aren't comfortable coming into down dog, you could just make your way to standing. If you feel good, you could tuck your toes under, press into your hands. And on our exhale, we're going to hug onto baby from below. So we're going to engage around the core so we can lift the knees up and then send the hips really high up to the ceiling. So I like to recommend a really wide leg stance, nice bend in the knees to help get that pelvis pointing up towards the ceiling. So you get this space in your low back. Good. And you can pedal out your feet here even with your knees bent. Looking up at your fingertips if you get a little bit nauseous or stuffy when you're upside down. Good. And then we're going to walk your hands to your feet or your feet to your hands or a mix of both. Coming into a forward fold, if you have those blocks available, placing your hands on the blocks again, just so you're not curling over your belly. You can let your head hang heavy and we'll rock side to side. Good. And then pressing into the floor through your feet, your hands at your waist, elbows pointing up, and we'll slowly come to standing, neutral spine. Just having your eyes closed or soft gaze here. And we'll do a few figure eights just to bring that blood back down so you're not feeling dizzy. You can hold onto your belly as you do the figure eights. Good. And then when you're ready, you could blink your eyes open. We'll grab a hold of one of your blocks and we're going to place them between our thighs. We're going to go into a chair pose variation where we're really working our inner thighs. So it's often said that our inner thighs, our adductors, are our pushing muscles. So it's nice to have them strong. And it's also good if you're experiencing pubic symphysis dysfunction or any strong sensations down there to build that strength from your adductors by hugging the block. So as we put the block between, you're going to be hugging onto it. And then we're going to have your feet about hip width distance apart, toes pointing slightly in, and we're going to sit back into a chair here. So hugging onto the block, the knees are neutral, just right over top of the ankles, sending the weight into the heel and the big toe though. So we're not shifting all the way back where we can lift our toes. You want to be pressing into the big toe, and that helps to engage the glutes. Good. If you feel good here, you can extend your arms out by your ears. Good. Pressing through your feet here. Good. And just feeling you hug onto that block, feeling that sensation. We're going to stand up. Good. Removing the block from in between. You can put it down. We're going to do it one more time. Sitting back into that chair, but still pressing through your big toe. Imagine you have a block here in between. Feeling that engagement from your glutes around your back, hugging onto baby so your core is slightly engaged. Good. And then standing up. Nice. I hope you felt that in the back. So we're going to do a little bit of a movement with that position. You can move the blocks off to the side, and it's called a curtsy lunge, and then we'll go into chair pose. So what that's going to look like is we're going to step your right foot back like you're going to do a curtsy, and then we're going to lunge, sending your hips back. Good. And then we're going to stand back up, and we're going to curtsy on the other side. Good. Doing that lunge, sending the hips back, coming back to center. And then we're going to go into that chair pose. So imagine you're hugging onto a block, feet are hip width distance apart, not together. Good. And then coming back up. Nice. Let's do it again. Curtsy back. And then other side. Lunging, sending those hips back. Weight is in that front foot to help you stand up. And then sitting in chair pose, Utkatasana. Good. And coming back up. Again, curtsy. Coming together. Curtsy. Coming together. And then chair pose. We'll keep going. So with prenatal yoga, it is amazing to get a nice stretch and movement within the body, but it's also really important that we're building strength as well. Labor is a lot of strength involved, mental capacity, and so the more we repair in our body, the stronger we are, the more confident and empowered we will be to continue through labor and feel all those sensations. Okay, chair pose, and we're going to do one last one for good luck. So last curtsy, sending that hip back, weight is in the front foot to come back up. Curtsy, weight is in the front foot, and then sitting back. Beautiful, and then coming up. We'll finish that off by doing a few figure eights. Awesome, we'll come back down. So we're going to come back down to the floor in that curtsy position, lowering your knees to the floor. Grabbing a hold of your blanket again to bring up some height. And we're going to go into a seated figure four position. If you are comfortable on your back, you're more than welcome to go into figure four on your back. This one, we're going to stay upright, having your hands behind you so you can lean back a little bit into them. We're going to bring your ankle just above your knee, flexing through your foot here. And then you can, if you feel comfortable, place your hands behind your legs or keep them there for extra stability. But what I like to do in the figure four position is if you need a little bit more on your outer hip, walking your front leg, your supporting leg closer to your body so you could go a little bit deeper. And another thing would be rocking your knee or leg side to side so it's rocking your leg that's getting a stretch and into that hip. And if it feels good here, you could close your eyes or take a soft gaze. Just noticing where you're feeling the sensation in your body. And then finding stillness. And then switching sides, you can walk your feet out just to create that space. Placing your ankle above your left knee. And you could walk your leg in again And one side might be a little bit tighter than the other, and that's okay. Not each side has to be symmetrical. And so just meeting yourself where you're at, not trying to force each pose to be the same. And then if you like the rocking motion side to side, you could do that. Good, and then finding stillness here. Walking your foot back out, creating space for you to release that top leg. And then we'll take the legs a little bit wide and we'll just windshield wipe them side to side. Good. And then taking your legs out, you can give them a little shake and even a little gentle forward fold. And then we're going to set up for our Shavasana. So if you have a pillow, that's wonderful. Taking it to the side and then bringing a blanket to the top of the mat. We're going to lower ourselves down to our forearm and then to our side. Placing your bottom leg will be straight, your top leg on the bolster, and lowering your head down onto the blanket. And closing your eyes here. If it feels good for you, you could place your hand on your belly, just connecting with your baby. And allowing your body to just relax down into the floor. And allowing it to be supported by Mother Earth. And relaxing the space between your eyebrows. Softening your cheeks, your jaw, and all the way down your throat. Feeling this gentle sigh in your body where it's letting go of doing and it's just being in this moment. Slowly extending your inhalation and exhalation. And bringing awareness back into your body by wiggling your fingers and toes. And just taking this moment to connect with your baby, sending them any little message you like. And thanking yourself for practicing today, for giving yourself this gift of movement. And when you're ready, you could start to lift yourself up. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the practice. And if you are interested in more practices, check my website out at ashleyherrerayoga.com or subscribe to my page or my channel for more upcoming classes. Bye for now.